I thought last season at halftime we should have been 2 up in both games.
Agreed.
I think in the first game we should have been 2-1, 3-1 up at halftime, and in the second game we should have been at least 2 up at halftime.
So I am quietly confident. I actually think we will win, and I will go into why.
Can't underestimate Aston Villa. That week where we lost to them at their place was the same week they beat City as well. They're a good side. Let's not take that away from them. What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. You've joined us for the preview of the Aston Villa versus Arsenal game, a 5:30 kickoff Saturday. Before we get into that, this video is powered by Parimatch. James, tell us a little bit more.
Arsenal looking to avenge last season's defeat, or shall I say defeats, at the hands of Unai Emery's Aston Villa this weekend. Despite that, the Gunners do actually have a good track record in the Midlands, losing just 3 of their last 22 games at Villa Park. Our friends at Parimatch UK are offering enhanced odds of 35-1 for Arteta's men to get the job done. To claim this offer, simply create a Parimatch UK account, opt into the promotion, and then place a max £1 bet on Arsenal to win. Remember, guys, you must be 18 plus and a UK resident, and full terms and conditions apply, with all the links you need in the description below. Please gamble responsibly, and a huge thank you to Parimatch UK for sponsoring this video.
Okay, we're back. Intros. Yeah? Come on, people. You will like this one. You will like this one, I promise you. You don't have to worry about this one, but you will like this one. It's for James. Obviously, the villains have done the double of us. Villains don't usually win unless we're talking about Infinity War. But I'll tell you, this Saturday, it's going to be the end game for those purple MFs. It's good, it's a Marvel reference. Big up. That was good.
I was meant to like that one.
Yeah, that was for you. Because we're the Marvel, we like Marvel. Before we also get into it as well, it's just nice to see Turkish in his Arsenal gear. I'll be honest, hands up for me, it's poor. I'm normally in Arsenal merch as well. But look at you, sporting the hat, the jacket, we've got the tracksuit, what you got a top underneath as well? Is it Arsenal top underneath as well?
Nah, but Ty's got competition.
Have you seen his Cronky top yet? It's my favourite.
I don't know about that. We've got 2 weeks after this window.
That's almost true.
I see a painting of just round the corner. 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard you saying it's all about the journey and the friends along the way.
The process. You seem like you're excited as well now.
But listen, it's not about buying merch when we're winning. It's for me, it was always about competing. It's always about giving us windows where you could give us hope and belief. And last 3 years they've done that. I don't know about the last 2 months, but the last 3 years they've done that.
You're a good model of the merch, man. You look. This is a nice fit.
I'm a tracksuit guy. I like comfort, and they bring out quite a few decent tracksuits.
While we joke, I see so many more Arsenal shirts around London the last 2 years.
Agreed.
I say London's wherever I go. Whether I go into Hertfordshire, wherever
just
people are proudly wearing Arsenal. So I know while we joke about the whole when or when not to wear merch, everyone can do whatever they want, quite frankly, but there's definitely a pride that people really have in being an Arsenal fan right now.
Yeah.
And I know that pride will always carry through generally, but when the team are fighting on the pitch, there's a team you're proud of, there's a team you love, there's a group you love, there's a manager you believe in. There's just an energy that fuels everything in here, that fuels everything. Match days, away fans, which you know super well, and that's definitely a part of it in a way.
Definitely,
yeah, 100%.
That's a good point. I admit on match days as well, not around this area, around where I live. You see people in Arsenal shirts. I never used to see that back in the dark days as much. Now I see it flooded on match day. Everyone in Arsenal shirts repping it.
And this tracksuit bangs. None of that third kit nonsense that we've just brought out. So.
I like that one.
I quite like the third kit. I will say Adidas have helped with the extra merch on the streets, may I say, though, because they've been releasing a lot of good stuff.
Anyway, we need to get the headphones, because you said you're on competition retire. I'll sort them out for you.
That's a bit too far. I don't know about that. But yeah, the beard might be dyed red soon.
Oh, let's hope we win it this year.
We win a league, it's dyed red.
Carabao Cup semi-final win.
Nah. Yeah, let's rein it in a little.
Turkish is still there. All right, let's get into. Apologies. Let's get into what we're here previewing the Aston Villa game. It's away at their place. They're a team that done a double us last season. Unai Emery. Listen, there's going to be. We'll get into the conversation between him and Mikel Arteta at some point, and your thoughts and what does it mean if we lose or win. But firstly, ahead of this game, how are we both feeling? Let's go.
I'm more excited than anything.
Excited? More than...
I'm excited because if I think about it, it's facing a team that cost us last season. It's facing one of the 2-3 teams I put down to costing us in that final game week, because it's the 2 Aston Villa games, the Fulham game and the West Ham game I look at. Mm-hmm. And they done the double over us last season. They've got the manager we had prior to Mikel Arteta, and he's got a great record against Arteta. So I'm excited that the test is coming now, especially with the transfer window still open, because I don't believe we've strengthened like we should have, and I think Aston Villa have actually strengthened.
Yeah, they have.
So it'll be an interesting test. I thought last season at half-time we should have been 2 up in both games.
Agreed.
I think in the first game we should have been 2-1, 3-1 up at half-time, and in the second game we should have been at least 2 up at half-time. We wasn't, and we paid the price for it. So as much as we haven't strengthened in the departments I would have liked to strengthen in this transfer window, I think we've got all the tools necessary to be able to beat them and in my opinion, avenge both defeats last season.
Yeah, it's the biggest game of the weekend, James, and I want to get your thoughts and feelings ahead of it because everyone's eyes are going to be on it. It's huge. It's Arsenal versus Villa. Like we mentioned, they've done a double last season. That was 40%, by the way, of our defeats. So we 2 out of 5. So how are you? Are you? Well, he said excited. I don't think I feel that way right now.
I echo that. I feel excited and quietly confident. But I will say as well that let's show some respect to Villa first and foremost. That Unai Emery took them on when they were really low in the table. You know, got them super competitive, got them into Europe that season. He actually came in, so he hadn't had a summer window, got them into Europe, follows that up with getting them into the Champions League. So a lot of people are saying, well, how will Villa this season cope with having European football? I know last season the Conference League is in the Champions League and it's a different format, but he's been able to juggle Europe in some way, shape or form. He's taken this team, got them into the Champions League in his first full season, incredibly impressive. They've had really good scalps against big sides. They are a team that are tactically set up at times to be entertaining, but also beat the big sides. I'll add to that as well, though, that they've had a lot of changes, you know, within the squad. They lose Douglas Luiz. A lot of us are going, well, that's quite a few goals from midfield to replace. That's some leadership. That's someone who was a regular in that team, has been a part of the good and the bad at Villa the last few years. But they've now gone and added Amadou Onana, and you think, well, that's a player we were looking at. Let's be honest.
I would like him at Arsenal.
Does he start for us? There's a good question there. So I think we're at this point where, you know, the narrative around Villa Arsenal is weird because it's like, okay, tough game for Arsenal, but I think a lot of people would think the expectations that Arsenal go win if they want to go challenge Man City. This is still the side who have done everything I just mentioned. Add to that, it's second travelling to fourth last season. So I am quietly confident. I actually think we will win, and I will go into why. But I just wanted to just give Villa the respect they deserve. Not only because Villa fans low-key hate me online, but also because they actually genuinely deserve it. And I think I've seen Arsenal teams over the years that I thought would get top 4 and didn't get it over the line. So I'm not going to begrudge the teams that did. I know we're now kind of talking about different things right now, but fair play. Villa and Emery got it done a year ago, and now they've got a good squad for it.
Yeah, no, you're right. If we look at the table right now at the time of filming, we're sitting in second, they're in 5th. And I think that's where a lot of people predict the final Premier League season, those two teams in the same sort of places. I predict us to be top, but some people say second and then 5th. We're going to go to their first game of the season.
Match week 1.
Match week 1, yeah, it's only 3.6. But no, it's second and 5th. That's what it is on the table right now, and a lot of people predicted that. But, you know, I just wanted to highlight that quickly. We're looking at the first game, us against Wolves. I think they play West Ham. Do we need to, Turkish for you as well? I think a lot of fans were happy, you know, clean sheet we won, but do we need to go to a bigger level? Do you need to see more from Arsenal on Saturday than what you saw here on the weekend?
The question is,
do we need more well, we're doing need more to beat Villa, but how much more? What do we need to do?
I think that's the difference. More conviction.
We
showed more conviction in both games last year. Like I said, I think we win both comfortably. So, and again, the transfer window, especially our forward acquisition and what the fans want, what I want, what a few of us want on this channel, is a bit of conviction up top. So I think it does come down to conviction. Now look at that first game of the season, and listen, Havertz starts the season as striker. And conviction for me is getting on the score sheet and you know, making a nuisance of yourself and causing problems, and that's exactly what he did. Yeah. So Havertz in that first game showed conviction as our number 9, but that's just an example of one. I think all round we need conviction because it's, you know, last season a few players missed chances against Aston Villa, against West Ham is another one. I think it's only really Fulham that I can say out and out deserved it, both halves, you know.
Definitely.
So I think more conviction from the front line. Listen, it's a big season for Martinelli, and what better way for Martinelli to kick off a big season than to show up in the game where we have to avenge 2 defeats from last season. So, listen, I'm looking at him. Saka again started the season with conviction like Havertz. For me, the difference is conviction. For me, can we put away our chances because we're going to have some. I saw the West Ham game. West Ham created chances. Yeah. In the end, they were probably unlucky to lose that game. So we are going to be able to create chances. Are we going to be able to put them in the back of the net?
You're right to mention Martinelli because the pace he has, Let me ask you two something, because I got a bit ripped in the comments for a video I did. I said that Martinelli doesn't have electric pace. Do you guys disagree? Do you guys think he does have electric pace? I'll explain what I mean by that.
I feel like he's got slower.
Like
recently, but
it's not Walcott, it's not like
right. It's not blistering
Mbappe,
pace where you're like, whoa.
But it was one of his main attributes when he was breaking through. He always assigning to the when he's running one-on-one and he's breaking.
He's probably the fastest player.
Yeah,
he's probably one of them. I mean, the reason I mention that is because while I don't know if he's got the kind of super electric pace that's going to terrorise defences, whether they're low blocks, high, whatever it is. The way Villa set up in particular, the fact he does have, he's very quick. Please don't people think I don't think he's very quick. He is. That running behind, whether we are deep or whether we're taking the game to them, I don't see Villa being a team that are going to be particularly pragmatic. I know Emery's got it in him. I'm not saying, but they're at home. I feel like they might want to actually take it to us a little bit. Yeah. And even when they do set up in a mid-block or look to press, whatever it is, that defence is always high. The offside trap is part of Emery's game plan. Now, have they evolved? I'm going to do like a bit of a rewatch of their West Ham game, see if there's kind of any themes there that we can kind of look to pick apart. But generally, you kind of think Martinelli is someone, as I get things in my eye, is someone who can, I don't know where this comes from, the Emirates dust. Martinelli is someone who could hurt them.
Well, we'll progress onto that. Obviously, the last 5 games will be coming up on the screens of their last 5 games. There's no point talking about them because a lot of them were pre-season games. Same with us. We spoke about the West Ham game briefly, but again, is it a Martinelli to start? I think we can't underestimate Aston Villa. That week where we lost to them at their place was the same week they beat City as well. They're a good side. Let's not take that away from them, but. Let's talk about who you would start then. So you saying Martinelli starts for you over Trossard. Are you both saying it is a Martinelli sort of game? Because you're saying Martinelli's speed, it will be useful, but then like you're right. I don't think in today's games you don't really get that over the top clip through ball for him to run onto. I don't think Aston Villa will give you that as well. I don't think they play a massively high line. So is it a Trossard? Is it a Martinelli for either of you two to start?
I only make one possible change to the lineup, and it's left back.
Yeah, okay. That was going to be my next position.
We played one game this season. Martinelli deserves to start the season, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah,
Trossard's pre-season was really
100%. But for me, Trossard's quality, technically brilliant, and probably our best finisher. But Martinelli, is he our future or not? And that's why I say it's a big season for him.
Fair.
And he's been given the chance, and it's about taking it now. So for me, you don't go backwards after one game.
Can Trossard not reach that love that Martinelli has? Can he not be?
But does this sound? Listen. Does this sound like love when I'm saying it's a big season for him? It's a chance, and I do love Martinelli. But what I'm saying is, we're a massive side now. It's not love that gets you over the line.
I know, but Trossard's future. You're saying Martinelli's a future. Could Trossard not be the future?
Trossard's 29.
Yeah, he's older. He's 20. I think he's 28.
And for me, he's probably the best 12th man in the league. So why would you change that sort of a formula?
That's a good point.
Who's your change at left back?
It was interesting that Timber come on, so for me it would be Timber because Arteta's rolled that dice first.
I agree.
We'd all agree. I think we'd all agree on that.
That was a massive moment, right? And I didn't realise. I kept saying in this video I did. I came on at 2-0. He didn't came on at 1-0. Timber, and so that's an even bigger statement from Arteta that with 22 minutes of football to play, he turned to Jurriën Timber, who hadn't played 3 pre-season games before that. And what's fascinating about it was I looked at his numbers because I'm a nerd, and to anyone who's seen me mention this in other content before, I apologise. Timber's attacking numbers were phenomenal. Like for the 22, carries, take-ons, successful passes. He only misplaced 1 pass. Like they were kind of like they were wingers' numbers. They were central midfielders' numbers. I looked at his defensive numbers, and it was 0 across the board. No tackles, no clearances. There was, I think, a couple duels he contested. So my point is, do you bring him in to do what Zinchenko does anyway? Because on the ball, you don't lose anything. He came on and I was like, oh, there's our Saka backup. You saw him and you think, okay, maybe if the idea is to not compromise on what Zinchenko does best, does he invert as well as Zinchenko does and move into midfield? I don't know.
Defensively, though, he is good as well, though. I know there's not numbers, but defensively, we've seen he is very
exactly my
capable.
point. That's why you move away from stats. And the eye test tells you from what we had seen pre-season last year, Community Shield last year, and the odd bit in pre-season this summer,
and I do,
is that he's good defensively.
Yeah, maybe you can confirm or deny this, James, because you do the tactical side, the nerd side of things, let's say.
Always.
Well, you said it.
I was going to say that was a bit...
He said it just now.
Okay, good.
I'll cry off camera.
Timber in terms of inverting, listen, when Zinchenko inverts, he's been praised a hell of a lot for his passing, right? Which I doubt at times. And but okay, as the extra man, he passes quite well between the lines. For me, Timber comes in, inverts, but he breaks the lines on the ball. He runs through, and I think that poses more problems, because when you got a guy that can run on the ball with it, you drag other opponents in. Because a pass doesn't necessarily do that between the lines. Passes between the lines are great, you progress the ball, but it's a very different threat having Timber who can run past the guy, drag in another guy, and that creates all the space down that side. So for me, Timber looks like he's going to be the one for Mikel that Calafiori needs to step up and drop, or Zinni needs to step up and drop.
Well, that's one of the strengths of Calafiori that stood out throughout the Euros, his ability to drive into space. The beauty when you've got a player who's a dribbler, someone who, you know, Kovacic does this for City a lot. You know, players who see space and attack it. Because there's no receiver, you're not dependent on that. But you might be dependent on someone making a run, but to execute a pass between the lines, they've got to pick the spot as well. You know, the receiver's got to be finding that pocket. My thing with Zinchenko, the reason I always say he's a great passer is because you're actually right, he gives the ball away really cheaply a lot. It's because he can execute very high caliber passes. He can execute very difficult passes. He just also gets, you know, a few wrong. With Timber, you're right. Do you invite the Villa press and then you've got someone who could beat it? I mean, 93rd minute of the game, 2-0 up. Back to the play. He's facing Gabriel. 2 Wolves players press him, and he just drags it through both, and he's gone. No, he ends up overplaying, and Raya gave him an earful. But that's the kind of confidence we love to see. I'm really fascinated by this one. I don't think we can just brush it off as, we gave Timber minutes. 22 minutes, having not played 3 pre-season games before, in a game when it was 1-0. He's sending a message.
You could argue.
Yeah.
No, you could.
And Arteta, when you look back at press conferences Arteta does, after a few days or after a game, whatever, you realise he did drop little clues, because normally he's very coy about who's available, who's free. When you asked about Timber, he was like, he'll be available next weekend. And then when the game came, he went, Timber will be available this weekend. Normally, we'll see, we'll assess, whatever. Oh, he's made the squad, aren't we happy? That was an inkling. He's ready to go, and I'm going to use him. So I think he's ready, Timber.
I think that's the strongest back line: Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Timber. And I hope we do see that. Another player that we need to stop. A man that's probably going to watch this video. Funny enough, made it into PFA Team of the Season as well. So congratulations to you, sir. But this Saturday, I'm sorry. I hope we're physical and we stop you. I was surprised. He does have a lot of joy against Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan himself, Mr. Ollie Watkins. Gonna need to really keep an eye on him. Is that kind of it must be the main threat. They've got good players, Aston Villa. I'm not going to take away from the abundance of players they have and the quality they have, but Ollie Watkins, even to this now, is still surely the one that everyone's looking at to stop.
No, they got threat from the wings. Their midfield strong now. I think Aston Villa are quite a unit now.
But they have a little bit of everything.
But Watkins is the man, and in terms of the games we played against him over the last couple of seasons, he tends to cause us problems. But defensively we're so good now, So.
But I said this the last time, or was it the time before I think, and he scored against Saliba, and he knows this. I said I didn't expect you to score that. He went 1-on-1 and stood in the corner, and he said basically what he didn't rate me, but I was like no, but like that's Saliba is for me and Gabriel in that back line. You don't expect him to really be beaten, and Ollie Watkins made fun of it that game, and I think he has done it as well of late as well, so someone definitely to consider.
Just live, you learn, innit? So obviously we've had a young centre back come into a partnership with another young centre back at the time in Gabriel.
True.
And they've had to grow, and listen, they've both evolved a hell of a lot in the last 3 years. And I just think strikers. Watkins is not the last striker that's going to cause Saliba or Gabriel problems. It's just how they deal with it, and it's been a few times now that Watkins has probably got the upper hand, and I'm sure Saliba doesn't like that. I'm sure Gabriel doesn't like that.
Facts.
So I'm sure they'll deal with it.
Yeah, I think it's a big game for Saliba and Gabriel, because once you've done with dealing with Watkins, if you do, who's difficult to stop, and he does peel off to the left a little bit more to Saliba's side. Well, only John Duran coming on.
Yep.
And he's a good player.
He's a good player.
He's a good player. He's a handful. He can hit
well
them from distance. His movement's good. He's got pace. He's got strength. Technical footballer. I really like him. And I've laughed at a lot of what Chelsea have done in the last few years. But when they were linked to him, I was like, I kind of get it. Like I get he's not starting for Villa, but there's something there. So Saliba and Gabriel are going to have a massive game. whatever it is, whether it's supporting Raya because their ability to hold off runs and dominate space allows them to cross-claim. They've got their fullbacks who come up the pitch like Digne and Cash. They'll get balls into the box, you imagine. Whether they're high pressing and we need to be sturdy and sit back, big game for them. If we take the game to them, if we are playing a little bit of this back and forth game Unai Emery might want, Saliba and Gabriel have to hold that high line and they've got to track the runners. They're going to be dealing with 1, 2, 3 passes and Bailey is in behind or Watkins has got in behind, so it's a really, really big game for them. Dare I say a little bit more than the midfield, because I don't think we have to control this game to win it. I don't think we have to have 55-65% of possession, be camped in their half, creating chance after chance. I actually think if we nullify them, we've got a chance of frustrating them, and then maybe those spaces open up to us a little bit.
Okay, so you're right there. I just
can't forget McGinn either.
Yeah,
causes problems. I think he's a work.
Wherever he plays,
Tillemans has done well since he's gone there. I mean, they've got threats. I mean, Watkins is the tip of the tree, in terms of he's the number 9 in a strong unit.
They're a good unit. You're right in what you
take our eye off the ball. I mean, for me, the biggest worry it would still be the left-hand side, just because of what I've seen happens potentially with an inverted fullback. And then the hope is that Timber comes in and that fear is taken away. But we've just praised Timber a hell of a lot for his attacking attributes. So who's to say he won't be caught out of position now, because that's what the position demands, you to be out of position. It's crazy football now. So I'm interested to see what happens on that side, because it'll probably be Bailey. McGinn will probably try and double up sometimes as well. The left-hand side worries me more than Watkins, if I'm honest.
Cash overlapping potentially,
they've got hard work. Good unit. Now, I don't do the Mikel Arteta and Emery debate because it's been done completely online. It's massive.
But can I plug a video quickly? I'm sure you all are. Go subscribe to more Liaz's channel. Obviously, Liaz, who we've seen on lots of content, including.
I thought you were going to plug your own.
No. Obviously, he's been on FCM, DR Sports, and everything. But he did a really, really good breakdown of the Arteta Emery debate. I agree with every word he said. I'm not going to repeat it, but go watch that, because the way he talked about the difference between CV, body of work, expectations from managers, different requirements in jobs, why certain managers want certain things, and therefore we want different managers. I thought he broke it down brilliantly. So I just wanted to mention his conclusion was,
because I need to check it out as well.
His conclusion was that Emery's CV is unquestionably better than Arteta's. I think he said that. I might be paraphrasing, but he said if your club, obviously it depends on everyone's different situation, if your club is hiring one of the two, you're hiring Arteta. That was the conclusion of that video.
Exactly that.
And I think it just depends on the style of club. He made a great point about Ancelotti. Ancelotti struggled. Was it Napoli? Everton did quite well. Yeah. A lot of people would have said he's not ready for Real Madrid, but he's gone back, and that particular thing he needed to do, that particular squad needed, with the vast experience he's got, worked perfectly. So I think this whole managers debate, and people, I think Emery's first season at Arsenal was. It's hated too much. The second season was
solid, I think.
It was solid.
For the foundation he was coming in
right.
on.
Second season was a disaster. We all know that. But again, we've protested about lots of different things at this club that have gone wrong. It's not all on the manager. And I think when we reflect on that first season, it's better than people probably think. It just wasn't the right fit. And he's a great manager who's doing great things elsewhere. And I don't know. I think everyone's just happy with where they are. We're happy with Arteta, Villa are happy with Emery. Everyone's happy with what they're doing. We move
it
on.
blew up for everyone. I don't know. Everyone was quite like I said. Everyone's happy with what it is. What's going on here? Does it affect or change any of your opinions if we do lose on Saturday or not? Is it still like you just said there?
I think both managers. That won't change come Saturday. No?
Come the end of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's.
Disappointing though.
It will. I'll be honest.
It'll be really disappointing.
It'll be a disaster, I think, online if that happens. Just from this whole conversation between the two managers, it'll probably get reignited. But let's move on and get score predictions. Let's start with James. Give me a score prediction for Saturday.
I think we're going to nick it 1-0. I think we are. I think. Last two games we tried to nick possession back, high press, see if we could pick flaws in their build-up, but we were wasteful. It in turn left us a little bit open at times and a little bit confused at the back. I actually think we'll try to be sturdier and trust that the chances will come and one of them will take.
1-0 from James. Turkish you?
Forever I went 1-1 and I'm going to stick to 1-1. But I think we need to win.
Yeah.
I think going into Tottenham and City away, having drawn the Aston Villa one, albeit as hard as it is in isolation itself, isn't great. But the closer I've got to the game, the more I'm inclined saying 2-1 Arsenal. But I'm just gonna stick with 1-1 and hope for the best.
Turkish, if I offered you this, 3 wins, so we win these first 3 games, Villa and Brighton, and we draw Tottenham and City. If I offered you that right now, would you take it?
Or draw Villa and Brighton.
No. So we win this
Villa
one.
and
So,
Brighton.
so we Wolves, Villa, Brighton are wins, and we draw North London Derby away. We draw the Etihad away. Would you take it?
That'll leave us with 9 points out of 15, right?
It'll leave us with 11.
11.
3 wins plus the 2 draws.
3 wins, yeah.
But you also got to remember City is a draw, so they would be on maximum 13 out of 15. And we've got 3 massive games out of the way.
A draw at home is worse. It'll be worse for City. Do I take it now?
Spurs
11
away.
points out of 15.
They'd be
Yes.
on max 13.
Throwing a Champions League win as well, because we're in the
I
Champions League
think
game
if
now.
you-
Throwing a Champions League win.
I think if you get 11 out of 15, including the 2 draws away, Tottenham and City, I think 5 games in, we would then be favourites for the league.
Really?
Because it's fine margin, and if we would have got City away out the way, we would have got Tottenham away out the way, we would have got Aston Villa away out the way. Do you have away games that spring to mind that could be
Yes, Liverpool, obviously, yeah.
Old
Man
Trafford,
United
but yeah.
potentially.
But City here as well.
In
I
33
think
games after. Listen, I asked the question because it would put, it's like you said, I mean, Villa could win all 5 of theirs, and others could obviously, Liverpool could win all 5 of their games, and, other things could happen, but it would leave us maximum 2 points off City if we achieve that record.
Yeah.
So
you know
I was just curious. Yeah.
that actually just sprung something that I wrote down earlier. These first 5 games, this we've got City, in between that the Spurs and the City game, there's a Champions League game. Crazy first 5-6 games, right? The reverse fixture in January is here. Spurs, North London Derby here in January. Then we have Villa here at home. Then we have Wolves away, which should be fine. But then we have City at home as well. So we have a lot of in that January
3 home games though.
Yeah, it bodes well, but it's important that we get off to, I think everyone knows, get off to the strong start and try not to drop points when it comes to the City.
I think that's 12 out of 12 points. That's what we should be getting. That's what we should be getting out of them 4 games there. So that's the caveat to accepting 2 draws in the Tottenham City game. Now, for that to make sense, we've got to make sure we do what we need to do at home.
It's what we expect. We hope.
Also, we'll have confirmed Mourinho by that January window. So.
Well, let's hope so.
It's really close, people. It's like really, really close, this deal. Like, so he's literally over there.
Yeah.
Like, he's so close. Honestly.
We just got to announce it. That might take a few
So
more
close.
weeks. Anyway, so close. But listen, let's hope by the end of Saturday, me and every Arsenal fan and you guys having a good evening after the game as well. Thank you very much. Like the video if you like the video, and let us know your thoughts about the game in the comments below. Take care.